What is going on, guys? Sunday sermon. I'm also going to use this as part of the pressure testing lesson where you test where you're at. Now, anyone who is a mechanic or mechanically minded, you probably understand that a pressure test is for the cooling system on motorbike or car, anything with a cooling system. Let's say you replace a hose or a component in that cooling system. Where you put the coolant or the water in, you add pressure to it. Now when the engine is running, it heats up. The hotter the water gets, the more pressure is on the entire system. That is why when your car overheats, like it starts spraying out everywhere. More often than not, it's sprung a leak under pressure. Now it's a good way to test where your life is at, where you are at, not when things are good. You wouldn't know what's leaking, you wouldn't know what's fucked. The thing is, when you're a mechanic, you have to operate on facts, not, I feel like I've done a good job on this. I feel like this cooling system will keep the car cool during strenuous times. The pressure tester will tell you otherwise. If you've done a good job, if something needs to be replaced. Now here's the thing, your cooling system, whether it be your inability to control what you eat or drink, your inability to be depressed and be happy, whatever it may be that you're struggling with, pressure testing yourself. Now pressure can be a perception, the different levels that you're at as you go through. Like I referenced, the bull, the tiger and the dragon will have different levels of pressure. What the dragon goes through, the bull can't deal with. What you deal with now if you run a business is probably a lot different to what you could deal with back at the start. What overwhelmed you once upon a time is probably nothing. Could be the opposite. It's something you have to work out. Now, hopefully work it out without the cost of your marriage or your kids' relationship with you, or maybe even how you feel about yourself. Now let's say you bring a car in, mechanics will know this, and you diagnose it and you say it's that, and the person says, okay, how much to fix it? And you say, look, this. Pay for it, you get to work, you do a fucking phenomenal job. You almost don't even need to pressure test it, but you do because we operate on facts. Pressure test it, not a fucking drop on the ground. And you feel like the man, you diagnosed the problem, you fixed it. When you did fix it, you did exactly what you needed to do, so there's no ongoing problems, or in fact maybe it gets worse because you half-assed it. But then there's also situations or scenarios where maybe the damage done to the cooling system or you, whatever we're working on, is that bad, costs that much, will take so much effort and work that it costs more than the car itself. This happens at times. And you literally go out to the customer and say something like, look, we can put 2 new hoses on this, fill it back up, but there's that much damage and things done to, let's say, the water pump and the radiator, and this car's worth about $2,000. You'd probably be spending about $3 to fix it. Is that really worth it to you? That's why I say to people all the time and energy and the money and the effort that it requires to live a shit life, to be unhappy, to be the man that you don't want to be, to live the life that you don't want to be in, like, that still takes time and money and energy. And that's the example, so to speak. That's the metaphor where you need a new you. You need to overhaul body, mind, wealth, health. Boom, just go and buy the fucking new car. Now, fortunately and unfortunately for us, we can't just go and buy a new us. We have to work towards it by investing in ourselves, doing the work that's given to us, pressure testing it, going through the fucking program. Isn't it funny, you guys don't go all the way through, or you generally don't get going again until things are bad. But when things are bad, you've probably got something that's broken. You've probably got a leak that you should have paid attention to a long time ago. as I talk about this pathway being something that you not just go through once, but at least 3 times, and go through it any time you like, just to refresh and see where you're at. It's like when you watch a movie 10 years ago, then you watch it again, and it seems totally different. You'll notice and do things you didn't first see at the start because your perception, your awareness, your standard of actually doing the work was that fucked. The way you're at now will be totally different. Now, more often than not, and hopefully, you don't have to just go and buy the new car. The cost doesn't outweigh where you're at and who you are right now. Hopefully, for your sake. But you will get to these times, not always by making mistakes and it always being on you. You could have your father die or something quite serious, and that just rocks you. And the you now can't deal with it. Now, it's not your fault that you're there at that place now, but it's your responsibility to fix it. Going back to what I said, when something happens like that and we find ourselves in the so-called pit, there's no point in starting to do the work and put band-aids on things and put on a couple of new clamps and clean it up so it looks good. Because something's going to happen down the road where it just fucking blows apart. I mean, you can do that if that's what you need to do to get through the next day, the next week, the next month, whatever, but ultimately, when you're going to look at it and be like, alright, yeah, this me isn't cutting it. I need to change. Oh, good thing for you, you've got this fucking pathway here. Good thing for you, I spent 10 years of my life putting this together, so it's like, there you go. Same way when someone brings their car in, it's fucked. Like, do you want to spend $2,000? Or like, do you want to realize that your car's a piece of shit? Oh, I can't just go and buy a new car, Dan. Oh, either can I. But if I was in that situation, I would think to myself, how do I get money for a car? Do I take on a side business? Do I get a loan? Like, what is it that I need to do to generate more wealth, generate more of an income so I can get a fucking car? And you never ask those questions. Imagine asking yourself every single day as a man, how can I generate more wealth? Not because I need a new car, or not because it's an emergency. If there is, and when there is, or let's say my kids deserve the best. That's just what I'm asking myself every day. And if you don't ask the fucking questions, it says in the Bible, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it'll be open to you. How often are you knocking? How often are you seeking apart from just going through the same routine? How often are you fucking asking these questions? Probably not at all, most of you. So I was like that too. When I was working on those cars, I would finish my job for the day. Done. 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, done. Nothing to improve myself, nothing to change the situation, nothing to change the outcome of tomorrow. What do I want to do fucking right now? For me, it's easy, it makes me feel good because I worked 8 hours. That's why I was working for someone else in a place that I didn't want to be, doing what I didn't really want to do. That's all I could see for myself realistically. So that being said, in this component, and also this is gold, and I would feel it'd be a disservice of society not to hold this simple message to men that need to hear that. Whether you come up to this lesson or whether you've just randomly seen it, which is it? Do you need to pressure test with facts and fix the small things that need to be fixed? Or are the facts that fucking bad? Is the truth that fucking painful where it's like, alright, new me. We're aiming like using new me or the best version of yourself. Like, what the fuck is that? It doesn't need to be the best you, it just needs to be better than who you were. It doesn't need to be new you. It just needs to be the you that doesn't get fucking drunk and like ruin his life. And you don't even need to think or figure out how to do it. Like, you go through the pathway and you adjust as you go. You improve as you go. because you step in the ring with Ali, you think you can box, doesn't mean you're going to win, doesn't mean you should be there. Like, you still need to continually progress and do the fucking work. It's what blows my mind with society. It's like, damn, how much is it to work with you? This. Oh, yeah, it's too much. That's the easy part. That's the easy part. You're sitting face to face with the true you, the reality of the facts, not the feelings. And you think, fuck, this is me, that's me, I gotta fix this, this is on me, I haven't dealt with that. That's the hard part. That's when it gets interesting. That's where true growth and change comes from. Here's you bitching about like $50, $500, new cars $5,000, if you're lucky. Fuck. How low are your standards? How pathetic is your reality where like spending an hour on yourself a day is too much? Working 6-7 days a week for 6 months, just unrealistic. Not only to get out of your situation, but to get where you want to go. It'd be like if the customer walks in the garage and there's water pouring out of this fucking car. I don't know why it's overheating. It's that. I might get a second opinion. I'll fix it later. You can't. When your car comes in that fuck, you can't take it out. You get it fixed or it stays there. You get it fixed or it blows up 100 meters down the road. The thing that fucking terrifies me and that I see everywhere all the time. Men are just driving these fucking shit shows of themselves and their life around. It's like any fucking moment they're going to ruin their kids' future because they shouldn't have been the men. They haven't been the man that they should be. Any given moment, your wife's going to fucking take you to court, get a divorce, make you pay child support for the next 10 years. Any given fucking moment, like, it's just going to get too much for you and you're like, fuck it, I'm killing myself. Just because you simply wouldn't look down and think, fuck, do I need to fix this $17 hose? Or maybe it's time I buy a new car. I've had this shit box for fucking 20 years. Which is it? Which one are you going to do? Myself? God? The guy at the fucking mechanic store? We don't give a fuck that you can't afford it. We don't give a fuck that you want to think about it. This is what you need to do. You need to do it now. How are you, stepping away from this conversation, going to find a way to do it? That's what I did. That's how I can say that with so much conviction. It wasn't, that's too expensive, or this is going to take 6 months. Like, how the fuck do I get this done? This is where I'm at, and it sucks. And I'm here at this very opportunity because I want to be here. How do I find 10 grand? How do I find 6 months of work? How can I leverage my time and energy, although it's hard? How hard is that to understand? Because you and I both know when you go away from that opportunity with your pussy perspective, with your weak as fuck will, I don't like that you swear, Dan. Well, I don't like that you're weak. Or you don't do anything. Or you waste my time. You know how many messages I get a day? The reason why I take this so serious, the reason why I get so passionate, the reason why you motherfuckers trigger me so much, it's life or death for some of you. And to really drill this home and to probably piss some of you off, well, I'm doing it for my kids too. That's you doing it for your kids? Huh. It's going to turn out more fucked up than you. So if we sat down with you and talked about your dad and talked about how he was and talked about, was he the best man he could have been? I'm sure you got a few stories. Now that doesn't make it his fault. It simply makes it your responsibility so it doesn't keep going down the generational line. And if you don't feel like that's your responsibility, if you're not man enough to say this shit stops with me, this is the experience my kids get, This is how I'm going to change. This is when I'm going to do it. If you can't accept that, you fucking might as well give up now. It's the truth. If you watch this all the way through though, if you're still here after 15 some minutes, getting to where you want to go, success, it's just failing faster. It's not about finding the right way, which is very convenient for some of you. Here's the way. People who have any success or have any respect or any level of something that a man would want, they all know that it just came from mistakes and failure, and you just do it faster until you find something that works, until you get it over the fucking line. But once it's over the line, once it's done, guess what? It's fucking done. Now, if you need to get here and it costs you 10 mistakes, 10 failures to get here, just stopping and not doing anything still doesn't get you there. And you can live another 20, 30, 40 years like this and find out the fucking hard way. Or you can take this Sunday sermon and see it as the fucking sign and lesson you needed to hear today. It's up to you. Dan Fitz, a street preacher that is pressure testing your fucking life. Godspeed, God bless.